Marblestone Inkie Pie is Pinkie Pie's second eldest sister in the Muffins series. First and foremost, I need to explain what happened with her name. As most fans know, Inkie Pie and Blinkie Pie were just fan names, following the naming format of the ghosts from Pac-Man, which, if you think about it, would have made Maud Pie Clyde. But in the book, Pinkie Pie and the Rockin' Pony Palooza Party, we were given the real names of these two sisters that were first seen in the episode The Cutie Mark Chronicles, as well as the names of Pinkie's parents. Her mother was Cloudy Quartz and her father was Igneous Rock. Inkie was Marble Pie and Blinkie was Limestone Pie. When I found out their real names, I decided to keep Inkie and Blinkie as nicknames, sort of like how Pinkie is Pinkamina's nickname. However, my memory is not great, and I am rather ashamed to admit that Marble's name got jumbled around in my head and fused with Limestone's name, becoming Marblestone Pie. I am very aware of this mistake, but by the time I realized it, it was too late and the damage was done. The funny thing is, Muffins fans don't seem to care about my mistake as much as I do, so I try not to be bothered by it. I excuse the mistake by saying that, since there are many differences in the Muffins universe compared to the show, her name is indeed Marblestone Pie. I would change it back to Marble if it was possible to go back and redo everything, but it's not, so yeah, forgetful Reitanna is forgetful. Back to the character! Inkie Pie was born about 8 years after Minkie Pie, but Minkie was thrown in a cellar a few days after her birth, and only had one interaction with her sister that she was too young to remember. She grew up thinking she was the first child, though I'm sure her subconscious retained some memory of Obsidian, so she probably had a couple of dreams about a dark-colored filly with a soothing voice. Inkie is decently laid back in personality, and not much really gets under her skin. If something makes her angry, she's usually pretty good about not letting it show. Unfortunately, this has caused her to build up a lot of feelings that took a toll on her psyche. She was able to let loose a lot of these feelings when she started baking cupcakes with her sisters. When they were fillies, Inkie and Blinkie Pie didn't really connect with their pink sister because they felt they didn't have a lot in common. That changed when they started baking, because now they all had an outlet for their repressed madness caused by a bland and restricted lifestyle, as well as not-so-loving parents, though Igneous and Cloudy did not abuse the 3 younger children as much as they did Minkie Pie. The reason for this was because they did not appear to have a lot of problems. Inkie Pie, acting as the older sister, was able to take charge of Blinkie and Pinkie to ensure they behaved in front of their parents so they didn't get smacked. Speaking of Inkie Pie's madness, when developing her character, I was originally going to make her schizophrenic. She would experience visual and auditory hallucinations periodically, but as time went on, the opportunity to reveal this characteristic never came up, so she became just a simple sociopath with no care for other living things aside from her sisters and friends. Even though Inkie Pie is calm on a normal basis, there are instances where she loses it, specifically if things don't go the way she planned, or if some pony insults her loved ones. She is extremely protective over her friends and sisters, who are her only family, including Minkie Pie, even though Minkie is older. Inkie Pie can actually be pretty scary because of the fact that she knows the difference between right and wrong. She just doesn't care. She likes chaos and disruption, and one of her quotes is, "I find beauty in the dissonance," which is a reference to the song Schism by Tool, my favorite band. Another interesting thing about Inkie's personality is that she's proud. When she walks, she holds her head up high, she makes eye contact with any pony she passes, and even takes her strides with a bit of a strut. She seems to know she's powerful, and the way she smirks confirms it. Because of this, if Pinkie Pie is ever out of action for any reason, Inkie Pie usually acts as the leader. Inkie Pie's appearance closely resembles the way she looked in the Cutie Mark Chronicles. However, in the very first picture I drew of her, her hair was a little too short. Since then, I've gotten into the habit of making it a little longer, being the length I had meant to make it originally. In the story, she is also described as having heavy-lidded eyes, which is why her eyes are slightly shadowed, but they are not sunken in like Minkie Pie's. She is also described to having a low voice, which in editing is decreased in pitch by 4%. Her cutie mark is a geode, which is the fan-accepted cutie mark for her. I am unsure who actually came up with this idea, but in the Muffins universe, she gets her mark after having a breakdown. She had held in all of her anger and frustration toward her parents, that when it all piled up, she cracked and stormed off to the cave where the sisters tortured their victims. Inkie Pie followed her, only to witness her older sister's mental collapse as she screamed and cursed her parents, smashing rocks on the ground. The last one she threw broke open to reveal purple crystals inside, and that's when her cutie mark appeared. The two fillies concluded that this meant that Inkie shouldn't bottle everything up and hide who she was, because she may be strong like a rock, but even rocks break. There's more to her than meets the eye. Later in the series, when Babs Seed joins the team, Inkie Pie takes an interest in the filly. She likes her spunk and sass, and is impressed by the fact that Babs is a lot like her in a sense where she doesn't seem to show remorse for hurting some pony. As the series goes on, I will be showing how the two of them get along, and they form a friendship similar to the one between Derpy and Inkie Pie. Some Muffins fans may think that, next to Inkie Pie and Derpy, Inkie Pie is my favorite baker, but they would be wrong. Even though Inkie Pie is my OC, and an extension of myself, my third favorite baker is Inkie Pie. The reason I love her so much is because I envy her. She has emotional strength and confidence that I wish I had. I have the inability to stay calm under stress, so I value Inkie Pie as a character because, if she were real, I'd look up to her. That's why Inkie Pie looks up to her even though she's the oldest. That's all for now. I'll do Inkie Pie in another video. So, thank you for watching! Don't forget to check out the new playlist on my channel called Muffins Behind the Scenes, where I will be posting background information on the series, as well as some other goodies. Lastly, make sure to subscribe, spread the word of awesome, and become a Reitannite, and I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye!